Welcome back to another episode of Getting Up Raw. And in this episode, we are getting up raw with Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, Jenna Marbles, Tati, and this whole debacle that's going on in the YouTube community. Look, I want to start off by saying that this is in no way, shape, or form a drama channel. It is not my intention to ever perpetuate any sort of gossips or rumors in any sort of way. I'm just merely looking to open up a conversation with you guys, and hopefully we can learn something from each other. That's all. That's really the essence of Getting Up Raw. It's just starting a conversation and engaging in civil discourse. I say that in every one of these episodes. So having said that, let's go ahead and talk about the whole situation. If you're not familiar with the drama that's going on, I'm not going to uncover or go through the whole thing because it's really a lot of shit, and it starts going back to even a couple of years ago with James Charles and shit like that. There are plenty of videos and drama channels that you can go ahead and look up before you watch this video or even after. I just want to go ahead. I want to offer a different perspective of this whole situation. A different side of it, if you will. Because I'm in no way a makeup connoisseur. I'm not in the makeup community. I don't engage in drama. I really never my whole life. I've been that person that always try to avoid it. You ask anybody, it still always finds its way to me, but I always try to avoid it in one form or another. But this is a different situation because I was a fan of Shane Dawson's for a while. I had been following his YouTube career for a few years now, post blackface. All right, just want to get that out there. It was something I was aware of his content prior to when I started watching it, but I was under the assumption or the understanding that he had issued an apology and that he had moved on from that old version of himself and was no longer engaging in content like that. So I took that for what it was. I'd never watched it and just continued watching his content on conspiracy theories and his scary stuff about ghosts, and I always thought that was pretty cool, and sort of a different like a departure from what's normally on YouTube in general. So I liked that, and to see this happen to a person that I like is weird. It left me conflicted. To the point where I had to actually talk to a couple of people, people that I care about. I talked to my cousin. I talked to a friend of mine right before I made this video, and I wanted to see their perspectives on the whole thing because they were also followers, and it's weird because in Shane's apology video, he does state his abusive past. His struggles with mental illness, and I get that. As someone who struggles with anxiety, I know what it's like to be overwhelmed inside your head and to have to take whatever trauma you experienced in your life, sort of project it in a positive light or something that's gonna, take whatever was given to you, like make lemonade out of lemons, right? I think that's the understanding basically with anxiety. You take whatever trauma was put towards your direction, you use that energy to manifest something positive. And Shane, in a way, he did that, right? Let me address that. He positive in the sense where he took his trauma and his mental illness and he put it into something lucrative. He became very successful on YouTube. So he was able to take that, whatever shit was given to him, and turn it into comedy. The comedy, a lot of the times, was very insensitive. It was very stupid. His whole thing with the whole, sexualizing children, that's fucking dumb. Those are stupid jokes. I don't believe that he's a predator or any of that stuff. I just think he had, again, he took that whole shock value comedy routine and used it for himself, and he thought it was funny, and but it wasn't. It's insensitive. The whole blackface thing was insensitive. He had a character named Shanae, a character named Guadalupe, I believe that was his Mexican character. I don't know if she was if he wore any makeup for her character, but it was stupid, and he apologized for it, and I'm a sucker because I bought the apology. And I spoke to my friend about it, and he sort of offered his perspective on the matter and told me why he was less inclined to accept his apology. And I had asked why. And he gave his reason, and I'm going to keep that between he and I. But it really helped me see things from a different perspective as well. Because I had this sort of attachment to Shane Dawson, I was less inclined to see it in any other way possible. It's kind of like if something your friend or your family does, and someone tells you about it, and you're like, "Yo, that person's a piece of shit because they did this to me," and you're like, "What? They're not a piece of shit. They're my friend. How can you even say that?" Meanwhile, your friend or your family member is a piece of shit. We have to step away, and there are parts in our lives where we have to view things objectively, right? We have to, whatever sort of attachment we have to anybody or anything, we have to detach ourselves from that and try to see from an objective standpoint. And yeah, listen, the apology video that Jenna set out, right, Jenna Marbles, was very sincere, and Shane's was taken from, he took that sort of template, applied it to himself, and issued his apology. But that was the problem. He took an existing template, applied it to his situation, and sort of made it about himself. So the apology was very insincere in that regard. Now, again, I'm not perpetuating gossip or drama. You have to go and watch the thing for yourself and make your own conclusions from it. But this is something that, it left me with more questions. And it left me with more questions in terms of how we treat people in society that do wrong, right? But not from a malice, right? If that makes any sense. Like, Shane made content that he had thought was funny. It wasn't funny, and he's paying the price for it. And the YouTube community and the internet is making sure he pays the price for it, right? There is this aspect of cause and effect, right? Some people call it karma. It exists in all levels of our existence. Like it's not only a universal law, I believe, but it's also a natural biological law. Listen, on a basic understanding of biology, there's the whole adaptation, right? The environment keeps giving you things, throwing things at you, and your body has to learn to adapt to it in order to survive. And that's the same thing with the universe. The universe is going to constantly keep giving you lessons, and until you learn the lesson, you're going to keep getting hit with it. You're going to keep getting hit with it until you learn to do better. And, Shane has apologized in the past. It wasn't sincere. Shane made jokes from that point forward that also weren't cool. He didn't learn. You know what I'm saying? So these are sort of cause and effect. Now the ball is in our court, right? Do you forgive someone who is sincere? Because I think that's the thing. That's the main gist of this video I want to get to, because cancel culture is a very popular thing, and I've always said it that, listen, I'm an advocate for canceling. Do not get me wrong, when it's deemed appropriate, right? I don't think we should cancel everyone and everything, right, for making like a stupid, isolated, incidental mistake. But when someone is constantly, repeatedly doing something stupid and not taking responsibility for it, then yeah, they should be canceled. And it seems that Shane is taking responsibility for what he did, but he just doesn't have the apology. The apology is just, it's not there yet. It still seems to be coming from a very selfish standpoint. Target pulled his book from their shelves. A lot of makeup distributors are pulling his palette with Jeffree Star. Speaking of Jeffree Star, that person needs to be fucking canceled. Okay, so I'm not gossiping or anything. I'm not perpetuating shit, but this is like Jeffree Star, and I've said it to people before. Jeffree Star is the boss level in the cancellation game, and no one can beat him. Nobody can beat this person. This person is still constantly ending up on the top of the game. You think he does something stupid, should be canceled, and then his palette sells out. And you're like, what? How is this person even still like remotely relative, right? Let alone like selling out all his shit. It's nuts. I'll never understand that. But Shane is someone that's, a personality that's a little more personable, if that makes sense. And I think that's why he was able to garner so many followers, because he seemed very personable. It felt like when he was doing his vlogs, it felt like he was talking to you. He kept close company of his friends, and then you got to know his friends within his videos, and then it felt like you knew everybody. So that's why to me this was shocking. But I think that's the overall thing I wanna pose the question to you guys is it okay to forgive people and allow them to better themselves as human beings? And now I ask this only if the person who's asking for forgiveness is sincere, right? That doesn't seem to be the case with Shane Dawson. You may have your own opinions on that, but that's what I want to get down to. Because as human beings, we are all fallible. All right? There is no denying that. We've all said shit, we've all done shit that we're not proud of. And the only way to move forward from that is to, first of all, forgive ourselves and ask for forgiveness. But the second thing is they don't have to forgive you. They don't have to accept your apology. And I think that's one of the hardest things for people to sort of understand and grasp, because how can you forgive yourself if the person you've wronged can't forgive you? So that sort of juxtaposition in your head is crazy, right? It's dichotomous. It's cognitive dissonance at its finest, because you're at a loss. How can I move on if the person won't forgive me? And there's a huge difference between forgiving yourself and having someone else forgive you. People don't have to forgive you. And you should have to pay for shit that you've done, right? Karma. Adaptation. That's what this world is all about. And can Shane Dawson ever come back from something like this? I don't know. I've seen people be canceled and disappeared for much less. So this is something that he's got to learn from. And I think we can all learn from it. But let me go ahead and get back to the whole question. Listen, if people are sincere with their apologies, can they keep their platform? Can we give people the chance to become better? Because I think if we don't give people the opportunity to become better versions of themselves, then what's the point in living, right? When even on the most biological stance, we have to adapt to our environments in order to live and coincide in a properly functioning ecosystem, right? We all depend on each other, and we all have to work together in order to move forward. And that goes the same with just people on a social standpoint. That's my whole take on the situation. That's what this whole Raw aspect is. This is the different perspective of the whole situation that I wanted to offer and wanted to question you guys. And I hope you understand what I mean and where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a very questionable place. You know, listen, for now, I unfollowed Shane in all his platforms. And yeah. So I don't know. Can we forgive? You know, can we forgive people for doing stupid shit? Can we forgive people for hurting us? And can we, in essence, if people learn from their mistakes, can we uplift each other? Is there coming back from this and uplifting each other? Because sometimes, and especially from someone that does suffer from mental illness, to have the entire internet come after you is not a good feeling. And mentally speaking, that must feel like something else, brother. Because I mean, I've never had that, obviously, but you know, you build up an entire platform and then to have it come crashing down. And look, and again, I want to strongly iterate that I'm not condoning anything that he's ever done. And if any of the rumors are true, with him and Jeffree Star and Tati, and you know, sort of conspiring against James Charles, and that's really fucked up. You know, it really is. And you got to do better, man. People, we have to do better, okay, as society. And that's it. That's what this Raw segment is about. Please if you like my video, just smash that like button, subscribe. Doing my best to put out at least 2 videos every week. You know, this is the first time where I'm putting up 2 Raw segments in the same week, just because there's a lot of shit to talk about, and this is the best way to this is my outlet, and how I, you know, how I question life and question shit that's going on in the world. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and peace and nothing but love. Please, I mean that with all sincerity, nothing but love.